Get ready. It's time to surround yourself with some of the best attractions Southern California has to offer. It's time for the Central Florida Sights and Sounds Podcast, California Edition, with your hosts, John and Anne Marie Carigliano.
I wish they all could be California. I wish they all could be California. I wish they all could be California good.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 16 of the Central Florida Sights and Sounds Podcast, bringing you the sights and sounds of Central Florida's world-class attractions. And of course, I'm your host, John Grigliano, and with me is my wonderful wife, Miss Anne Marie.
Hi.
Amazingly, I did that without even looking at my phone.
You're amazing.
I am amazing. Well, on our next episode here, we're actually not at a Disneyland resort, but we're here at the California Science Center. For what?
See a spaceship.
To see the Space Shuttle Endeavour. And so we're standing right outside of the museum, and we're going to get ready to go inside. And we're actually standing near the Toyota Tundra that actually pulled Endeavour back in September of 2012. So we're going to give you a nice little experience of this wonderful museum. And obviously you won't be able to hear going into seeing Endeavour, but you'll be able to hear the California story, which is about the Space Shuttle Endeavour. So hopefully you will join us. And hopefully you'll learn something. All right, well, we're binaural, and we are now inside the California Science Center. Standing under a humpback whale. So we already bought our tickets online back in Florida. So all we have to do is just have them scan, and then we go in. So let's get going. Cool.
There's also some things above us. So these are kind of things.
No, no. These are fighter jets from the 80s that have been long decommissioned. So, give a little backstory. The last time I actually got to see Space Shuttle Endeavour was September of 2011. I hadn't left Florida yet, and she was in the vehicle assembly building, the big white building that you see. And so I got a chance to, I signed up for the Grail Tweet Up, which was the twin satellites that were orbiting the moon that mapped the gravitational fields. Well, when I found out that Endeavour was going to be in High Bay 4, I was really excited, and you can go search on my YouTube of that moment, my personal YouTube account, and you can see the video of when I finally saw Endeavour for the first time up close, and I was like literally crying. And
tell them why Endeavour means more to you than any other space shuttles.
Because my father worked on it. My father worked on the wings and the tail of the Space Shuttle Endeavour. And mind you, this was before Endeavour even had a name. So it was just a replacement.
NASA project, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it was just a replacement shuttle for Challenger. Didn't have a name yet. Because the name came from a school competition. So schools all over the nation submitted names for the new space shuttle, and Endeavour was the one. It's actually named after the sailing ship Endeavour. I think it's like the British ship Endeavour, which is why it's spelt the British way and not the American way, because it's spelt Endeavour. That's the British way of spelling it. So right now we're upstairs here, and we actually have one of the Apollo capsules. We're going to give you like a nice little tour. And there's a Mercury one. Wait, how'd you know it's a Mercury?
Because it's smaller.
Actually, that would be a Gemini. So this one here. Oh, this is
Unlike the Kennedy Space Center, they're in like plastic. They're like encased in
yeah,
plexiglass.
yeah. This is the Gemini capsule.
Here's
Because
a Mercury one
that's a Mercury one. Do you know why it's called Gemini?
because it's twins.
2 people. Mercury only had single. Gemini had 2 people. This is from the we're standing in front of the Gemini 11 space capsule, which was flown into space September 12th, 1966.
And these were just one and done.
Yes, yeah, these were not reusable. That's what made the space shuttle so revolutionary. It was a reusable spacecraft. So here we are coming up to the Mercury Redstone 2 capsule.
When we went to the Kennedy Space Center, they have ones that you can actually sit inside, and I
The-
couldn't fit inside the Mercury one. I was too
It-
tall.
It's a mock-up. It's not an actual.
I know, but it was the same size and everything.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fit inside because I was too tall.
And of course, this was launched back on January 31st, 1961, with the chimpanzee named Ham on board. So it was a chimpanzee in this, which is actually kind of cool.
Did he die?
No, actually, he survived, but he died of old age. So we're going through a lot of the space exhibits. I know this sounds really exciting. This is exciting for me.
This is a space storm.
Yes. And they actually have a piece of the moon. Encased in like cellulite or acrylic.
And then we're looking at some of the outfits.
The gloves.
They look so funny in like the old ones.
Oh yeah. So here, the Apollo Exploration Award Act gave a lunar sample to each Apollo astronaut. This moon rock is on loan from to the California Science Center from Apollo astronaut Buzz Aldrin. There's a little piece of moon rock. And the sample we're looking at is from the Apollo 11 mission and was collected from the southwestern part of the Mare Tranquillitatis, or Sea of Tranquility, where astronauts Aldrin and Armstrong landed in their lunar module Eagle.
Then you had the one guy who couldn't even go out.
Oh, Buzz Aldrin?
No, he went out.
Oh no, not Buzz Aldrin. Michael Collins. Yeah, Michael Collins stayed up in the spacecraft.
That sucks for him.
Well, you gotta have one person to man it.
Couldn't they switch?
How would you even possibly do that? Oh, there's a repair in progress. No, try the middle one. Keep going, baby. Keep going. Keep going. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. Go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Keep going. Keep going. Come on. Hold on.
You try it.
Okay, I'm gonna try this. Would you like to hold this? Hold the camera. Okay. There we go.
You won.
I won.
Your arms are stronger than
They can move a little bit faster.
What's the yellow thing?
The yellow thing is one of these many, many satellites. I believe that would be Magellan. No, excuse me. That is the Cassini spacecraft. This is the spacecraft that went to Saturn. Not the exact one, but yeah. So the Apollo module that we are standing in front of, the capsule, if you do come to the California Science Center, is the one that was originally built to go to the moon on Apollo 18, but instead, when the Apollo program was canceled by Nixon, this was changed to be on the Apollo Soyuz test project. So the Soviets launched one, and we launched one, and basically we had our first international handshake in space.
Space station.
It,
Beginning of the space station.
it was beginning of the jointship between the USSR and the United States. So this was the one that was used back in '75.
So would they open the door and like?
Yeah, through that hatch when they docked, they obviously performed all the leak checks and they opened up the hatches, and because interestingly enough, there's a special patch for this that one half had and the other half had, and they were only joined when both doors were opened. So they shook hands when it came into each other's spacecraft, and then they joined the plaque together.
So basically, when you're on this is it. This is
Yeah.
all you're in.
Yeah. So this is the part.
Uh huh.
That's so you have the command and service module, which connects on the bottom, this bottom half. So there's
Okay.
another section.
So this is where they sit. Like this
Yes.
is where they sit when they're going up, and then they can move around a little bit when they get there.
Yes. So when if you were going to the moon, the lunar module will be sitting connecting on this end. So after this part will be left on the moon, they separate from this part, and then this is the only part that comes back to
So where
Earth.
does this part go? This one burns up in the atmosphere.
Burns up in the atmosphere.
Not drawn to scale.
Of course, it's not drawn to scale.
You know what this is.
Oh dear Lord! Of course you're gonna even think that. And we have a sea of clouds here.
Is this like an actual?
No, I don't think it's an actual cloud. It says, run your hands through the fog and notice what patterns form. Leave the fog undisturbed for a while and notice how it moves around. Interesting. So, we experienced a little bit, but we're here to see Endeavor. So let's go see Endeavor.
Where John can geek out.
So I can geek out. And it
The
says,
Wright brothers airplane.
that is. Do you know what year?
1903.
You are correct. Except this is the 1902.
This is the wrong one.
The actual one is in the Smithsonian.
Because I'm like, you have actually been to Washington, D.C.
Oh,
You want to spend $2 and go in the hurricane simulator?
that's okay. Oh, I do see the Endeavor.
Hello.
Thank you so much. All right, so we got the tickets. We have to go through the ecosystems.
That makes sense.
This is like the quietest podcast I think I've done. It's not noisy or anything.
It's a turtle. Introductory experience, 3 minutes.
We can continue. Yeah, penguins. And here it is. This is where it starts. Oh. Just have the damn ticket. There it is. Thank you. All right, so we're here at the Endeavor, the California Story. Oh, funny. If you go on Vimeo, You can actually search this up. This is every single launch, all 135 launches from beginning to end. Yeah.
Here, do you want to read that for our guests?
Okay, so right here at the entrance here, it says
Endeavour, the California story.
the Space Transportation System, also known as the STS, popularly known as the Space Shuttle, was the world's first reusable space vehicle. Grounded in NASA's rich legacy of human spaceflight with parts built locally in Downey and assembled in Palmdale, California, all 6 Space Shuttle orbiters, test vehicle Enterprise, and Space Shuttle vehicles Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavour helped to launch our country and the world into a new era of exploration, cooperation, and achievement. Endeavour, known as the jewel of the Space Shuttle fleet, traveled over 122 miles, more than the distance between Earth and Mars. Astronauts on Endeavour repaired the Hubble Space Telescope, which brought a new understanding of our universe into focus. Endeavour delivered many parts to the International Space Station, start with the very first U.S. piece, the Unity module. And on a single flight STS-47, Endeavour carried the first African-American woman into space, along with Japan's first astronaut and the first married couple to fly into space together. Endeavour broke boundaries, set records, and helped us reach the stars, and our journey started right here in California. In this gallery, discover the shuttle's connections to California and experience the original artifacts from Endeavour.
And a lot of the letters are missing.
Yes, thank God I knew exactly what they were.
Because John always says STS, and I don't even know what that means.
Space Transportation System. And of course, right here are the tires from the very final flight, STS-134, back in June of 2011. So this is the main, the nose gear, and the 2 tires in the back are the main landing gear. Yes.
There's no tread. There's like literally no tread
No.
at all.
No. And interesting enough, these are not filled with air, but with nitrogen. They last a lot longer in space, and they don't explode.
Okay.
This,
There's stuff about tires.
yes. So you can actually see. So every single time it lands, they change out the tires. You can actually see in the back here where as soon as it makes contact,
Yeah, like
the rough part. If you go to the Kennedy Space Center, you can actually touch the main landing gear, and you can rotate them, but you can see that rough patch of where it actually meets the runway.
Did we?
So the space shuttle tires took a lot of pressure. From orbit to landing, the shuttle tires weathered temperature changes up to 170 degrees Fahrenheit and a drop of an altitude of over 200 miles in less than an hour. Altitude and pressure shifts bring changes in air pressure, which could have caused tires to leak or burst if they weren't designed to meet the challenge. Like tires on most aircraft, space shuttles were filled with nitrogen. Nitrogen works better during altitude and temperature changes than air, which is made up of 20% oxygen. Nitrogen also resists fire, and since its molecules are bigger than oxygen's, nitrogen leaks out from tires more slowly, which is a big plus in the vacuum of space. So there are some technicians that are removing the main landing gear brakes on Endeavour as they prepare for the shuttle for its final flight. Interestingly enough, space shuttle tires can handle landing speeds of up to 250 miles an hour, and each tire could support a maximum load of 142,000 pounds. That's like 40 NASCAR race cars sharing a single tire.
And there's one that's melted.
Yeah, a tire and a wheel assembly tested past the point of failure. But this was tested,
Yeah.
so there you go.
So we touched space tire.
We did touch space tire. We also touched space tire in Florida too. And of course you got the space bathroom for the shuttle. This is how the most common question, how do you go in bathroom in space? You get the space toilet. And they actually do get trained on the space toilet about how to get proper aim. No, there's actually girls too. Girls have a special nozzle too. Of course, we're here. It says, made in California. On August 1st, 1987, final assembly officially began on Orbital Vehicle 105, later known as Endeavour, the nation's fifth space shuttle shuttle and the newest of the fleet. With all of the orbiter's parts of OV-105 are constructed all over the country, but many of its components, such as the crew compartment and fuselage, were manufactured here in California. The pieces came together here in Palmdale, California, where workers at Rockwell International assembled and tested the orbiter.
So, like they said, like John's dad worked on the wings and the tail fin.
Yep. Yeah, this is the evil. No, not this is the evil, but the tail and parts of the wing assembly.
And he was telling me that in defense plants, that's how it works because they don't want any one person or one company to have all the secrets.
Yeah, well, not secrets, but it kind of it spreads out the work. Trying to think what else I was gonna say. Yeah, so as you see the tail here, Endeavour's vertical stable. It's a vertical stabilizer, also known as the tail, arrived from New York in September of 1987.
That's what John's dad did.
And so underneath the skin is just a aluminum frame. There's a lot of struts and whatnot. Yeah.
September of 1987, you were what, 4?
Yeah. Yeah. 3. I was 3 years old.
So you didn't even know your dad was doing this.
No. Oh God, no. No. Of course, we're standing right in front of Mission Control, or the Rocketdyne Operations Support Center, or the ROSC. So we're looking at a mock-up, which doesn't really look like the one in Houston, but it's close enough. Yeah, some people have tea. So if you can see in the booklet, there's the STS-134 patch.
Engines at 82% of rated thrust, 8 minutes into the flight. The next activity is a main engine cutoff. That's expected to be commanded at 21 seconds.
And we're coming up to main engine cutoff.
And main engine cutoff has been
Confirmed, yeah.
Flight Dynamics reporting a nominal main engine cutoff.
And there it goes, separates from the external tank.
From the external tank.
Okay. Wow. So 2 of the missions I remember seeing Endeavor fly. Endeavor was really picky. And anytime I came out there, always scrubbed. Scrub. And if you don't know what that word means, scrub means that the flight's been canceled and it'll be rescheduled. 2 of them, besides 134, I got to see STS-118. Beautiful launch back in August of 2007. And interestingly enough, Barbara Morgan, who flew, she was Krista McAuliffe's replacement for Challenger back in '86. So if Krista couldn't fly, she would have flown. So when she went up, she continued what Krista McAuliffe did on the space shuttle. So she did actually do a lesson in space. And of course, she's now retired now. So, yep. But yeah, she's had a very storied career of 25 missions from 1992 to 2011. And we're actually walking up to the picture of the space shuttle as it was leaning down in Los Angeles. And here is the actual form, the transfer form that that the NASA administrator actually signed over to the California Science Center. So it says the shuttles and the crew served valiantly on space shuttle missions until the last flight, STS-135, touched down on July 21st, 2011. But even before the shuttle program ended, NASA began the search for permanent homes for the remaining orbiters where they could take on a new mission to educate, inspire science learning in everyone. On April 12th, 2011, which was the anniversary for the very first space shuttle launch, NASA awarded Endeavour to the California Science Center. Like all the orbiters, Endeavour was built here in Southern California, and the award from NASA helped us bring it home. So, let's... Yeah. Oh, perfect. Right here. Mission 26, the Big Endeavour. Wow. Seriously. All right. So we saw the nice little movie about bringing Endeavor back home.
I thought there was actually gonna be like
Narration.
Atlantis one. That was a nice little time lapse.
It was. So we're coming around Endeavor here. Or oh, I see. Yeah, downstairs is the first one.
Just making a left, going downstairs to the first floor.
Oh, here he is.
That would make you as teary though as the Atlantis one.
No.
The Atlantis one makes John very, very emotional.
Yes, it does. Well, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, put together piece.
You're thinking about it now, you're getting more emotional.
No, no,
I love you.
you're a jerk. What'd you say? It's in this building right here.
I guess it's in its own little building.
Yep. Ooh. Thank you. All right. It's a very big building.
See it, honey?
I do see it, and there she is. There's Space Shuttle Endeavor. Wow. Wow. Oh, it's STS-130. So this is the second orbiter you've seen. You've seen Atlantis and now Endeavor. pretty incredible.
The thing I always find interesting is like when you see it, like on the launch pad,
Yeah.
like it looks smooth. Like it looks like it's just like paint, you
Yeah.
know, like it look because you can't see like up close. But like when you get up close, you see that there's all these tiny little tiles, and it's dirty.
It's very dirty.
Why is it dirty?
It's dirty from all the missions that it landed. So
They-
there's
they've
scars.
Never cleaned it.
They never cleaned. This is exactly how it looked from the last mission, STS-134, in June of 2011. So there's visible, we call them scars. They're scars of re-entry. You can see them around the nose.
Like it looks like you know, like the bottom is black, so like the nose is like in like you know almost like flame marks backwards.
Yeah.
It's like a lighter gray, and then it gets to be darker black again.
Yeah. You'll see a lot of grime around the OMS pods, which are the two bulbous pods on either side of the vertical tail stabilizer. So we have the black carbon tiles for the bottom. Those absorb most of the heat from reentry. The white parts, those are thermal blankets. Those are not as important because they're absorbing some heat, but not a lot of heat. So of course you can see there's the cargo bay, there's the crew cabin.
See, I like the way Atlantis is displayed more because as it open,
It has the cargo bay doors
Is it
open.
supposed to look like it's in flight? Is that what it?
Yeah. It's supposed to look like it just disconnected from the International Space Station, and it's the only way that astronauts have seen it in space. So
Like the one in Florida, it's like Atlantis is kind of like tilted,
tilted at a
And-
43.21 degree.
and like the doors are open and the arm is sticking out.
Yes, the Canada arm, not the real Canada arm. The real Canada arm for Atlantis is in Houston. So, but
But that's what I always find interesting is like, you know, like when you look at it far away, it looks very smooth. It looks very like
Yeah.
it's one big piece, but it's actually like hundreds and hundreds of little pieces.
yes, it.
And like that's, I guess,
millions of
that's-
pieces made up the
Yeah.
space shuttle to make it work.
Well, I mean, but like just the actual tiles, like.
Yes,
And
all
I guess
individually put in.
when Columbia disintegrated, they kept saying a foam tile or a piece of foam like flew off and hit whatever it hit, and I didn't understand what that meant because I was working at a newspaper at the time, so I had to read countless stories about this whole situation.
Yeah.
And it kept saying this foam piece. I was like, what foam? Why is this thing held together by foam? Like I thought it was metal.
Oh,
You know.
the foam is from the external tank that they that is sprayed onto the external tank to prevent all the oxygen and nitrogen to evaporate off. So it was actually a piece of the external tank that struck the reinforced carbon leading edge wing of space shuttle. So if we're walking here, I'll point out to Anne Marie. It came off and struck right about here. So right where the wing
Where it
starts
starts
to curve outward. It struck over here, and it was the whole. It was a piece of foam about the size of a suitcase. And when you're launching, you're traveling at just over 1,000 miles an hour. Something like that will do some, because these are very brittle. I can scratch one of these tiles with my fingernail.
What
yeah.
are the words on it?
So what we're looking at the underside of the shuttle, and you'll notice that each tile, or at least some of the tiles, have printed lettering on it. That denotes where in the location to install the tiles on the bottom of the shuttle.
Okay, so like the ones probably that are like don't have anything, they're older.
Yes.
And the ones that, like, because you can see they're all like different colors. They're
Yeah.
all like different shades.
So some
black.
are older, some are newer. These are, like you can see here. That was it's some down to the tiles, but you can see that it's just a foam core. It's actually silica tiles, but under here is where the wheels are. So you have one wheel here, you have one wheel here, and then you have the main landing gear under there.
By the nose.
By the nose. Where they have these mounted, if you'll also notice that these are mounted on earthquake protection system. So if the ground shakes, these will shake, this will stay still.
I guess that's a California.
Yes, it is the California thing. Us in Florida, we don't have to worry about that. So these are the ports that would connect this up to the external tank. These connect up. The fuel from the fuel from the external tank feeds the main engine. So it goes in here, goes out to the engines.
So the engine's in the back.
Yes. So after the after the external tank would separate from the shuttle, these doors close, and it's basically flying in space.
So can this like, because obviously when it had to be transported,
Yes.
it flew on top of a regular airplane.
Yes, the shuttle carrier
so this
aircraft.
can't like fly.
No, it's a glider.
Yeah. So it can't like it can
can't-
take off and like fly to Florida by itself.
Correct. It cannot. There's no propulsion at all on the spacecraft. So the shuttle carrier aircraft is what transported all the shuttles, if they landed in Edwards, back to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. So this was the last shuttle to be ferried, because now the shuttle carrier aircraft has been retired as well, and will be actually on display at the Johnson Space Center. So if you're in Texas next year, I think it's next year, you might want to check that out, because it'll be the only place.
So was there only one?
There were two shuttle carrier aircrafts. One turned into Sophia, which is a telescope on an airplane. It's a big telescope, like, so they have the rear door. And the other one turned into a museum artifact. So they'll have exhibits inside the aircraft. So
So with the new stuff that's coming out, like these were reusable,
these were reusable.
and the first ones were one and done.
Yes.
Are the next generation going to be one and done?
No.
The Orion, whatever.
They'll probably be able to reuse, not reuse the heat shield, but reuse the capsule.
So, like,
So they'll be able to,
replace the heat shield.
yeah, they can replace the heat shield.
Like these tiles, they'll replace these tiles, essentially.
Yeah. I think the ones on Orion are one and done. So they have to remove it and put a new one on. But it's not reusable like these were. They had, obviously after every mission they went through a servicing period, inspected all the tiles if they had to replace any, and then it would be ready for its next mission. So, yeah.
But we're never going to go back to something like this.
No. This was when this was being developed back in the late 70s. Actually, the idea for it came out late 60s, 69. We were hoping for a more affordable way into space. Turns out this is nowhere even near affordable. Each shuttle mission costed about roughly $134 million, or maybe it costed several millions of dollars per flight. So it wasn't even remotely economically. But then after Columbia, that was pretty much it.
And at that point, they were so old anyway.
Yeah. They're still using late 80s, early 90s technology. So
when we go into space now, it's going to be long-term
yeah.
stuff.
Yes.
It's not going to be
These
going
can't
up to
these
that
can't
space
yeah
station.
these can't do long term. The shuttles can't do long term.
So when they go, so basically, if the International Space Station needs something, we're still gonna have to rely on Russia.
Yeah.
But our own space program is going to be going to Mars.
Yeah.
So
We have a very
we're just
ambitious.
kind of
we're in that.
Screw you, International Space Station. We're done with you.
No, actually, the International Space Station is a great bed for learning about long-term space missions. Scott Kelly, who's up on the Mark Kelly, is up on the International Space Station right now for a year-long mission on there. International Space Station is a great bed to do experiments in microgravity that we can't do on Earth.
But we're not
Learn
really
about
concerned about it anymore.
no, we're still concerned about it. It's now been up for
But,
15
like,
years.
Is this going to be like you guys?
No,
you guys
no.
can
We're
service
hoping
it,
to
we're done.
no, we're no. We're hoping to actually extend the life of the International Space Station up until through the 2020s. But it's a great bed to learn about long-term missions
Because he has a twin brother.
because he has a twin brother. So his brother down on Earth, they'll study both of them and see what a year long in space does to the human body.
So you gotta wonder though, like because like the people that they're talking about going to Mars,
Mm-hmm.
like they're never coming home.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be an interesting thing. Like you obviously like I'm just like looking for those people like to do that because obviously you're not going to want someone who has a family.
Yeah.
You know, someone who has a wife, someone who has kids, because then they literally never see their family again.
Correct.
So you're basically looking for some single people that have no desire to ever come back to Earth. Like,
As most of us don't want to anyway.
it's just like a weird thing to think about. Like, you know, it's like, okay, your husband's an astronaut. He's going, you know, it's dangerous, but he's gonna come home.
Yeah.
You know, your wife is an astronaut. She's gonna come home.
Yeah.
You know, your dad, your mom, like, but it's just like, if we go to Mars, that's it.
That's it.
Like, you'll never see these people again, which is weird.
Yeah.
You know, and like even like because stuff I've seen on television, like there's like a delay. You know, so
Yeah.
like if like even when you see people on the International Space Station, like when you see a video conference, there's still like a few second delay.
Yep.
You know, but like there it would be like a couple minutes.
Couple minutes delay.
Yeah. So like you're talking to someone and they're like then nothing for a few minutes and then there's like
Yep.
so that's got to be an interesting proposition of how they're going to select those people to do that. you
Yeah.
know? I know it has nothing to do with this, but I'm just kind of thinking.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed our wonderful visit to Spatial Endeavor here at the California Science Center.
Once we get some service, there's no service in here.
Is there really no service in
No,
there?
I've tried to send stuff and it's not working. So
Oh.
we'll post some pictures on the Twitter.
Yes. On the Twitters.
On the Twitters. And we actually have a picture of John's dad working on Endeavor. So I already took one picture, but I'm sure he's going to take some more.
Yes.
So we have a picture of him working on Endeavor in front of Endeavor. So
Yeah.
that's kind of.
So, see, next time you're here in the Los Angeles area, come and see the California. Come see the Spatial Endeavor.
It's free.
It's free. Make a reservation online.
$4.
$4.
Well, for the two of us, it was $4.
Yeah.
There was like a service fee or whatever.
A service fee.
But like the ticket to see it is free,
Yes.
unlike
And-
Space Center.
And the parking up until January 1st is right now $10. It'll go up to $12. So
I mean,
bring cash because they only do
Yeah.
accept cash.
So what? $14 to see a piece of history is not too terrible.
It's not too terrible. So anyway, so I think that'll do it for this week's show.
I think so. Special California edition.
Very special California edition. Of course, you can email the show at podcast@cfsas.com. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JohnCFSS, as I'll probably be taking photos of the Spatial
And
Endeavor
the videos, all the videos.
and all the videos. And you can follow Anne Marie at Anne Marie CFSS. That's MARIE, and Anne as ANN, not ANNE. And you can follow our main Twitter account at Central FLSAS, and you can like us on Facebook, and you can head to our YouTube page. We'll be posting up videos. So, luckily, we finally got internet service like at our where we're staying,
So you can actually hear this podcast.
so you can actually hear this podcast.
Because otherwise, Rob Page would have to drive out to California to get it from us.
Yes, I don't
That
think
would be awkward.
that would be awkward. Here's a stick. Okay, you can go home now. So anyway, on next week's show, we'll be doing another show here in Southern California. But standing underneath Space Shuttle Endeavour,
It's pretty cool.
I have been your wonderful host, John Krieglau, and say goodbye, Anne-Marie.
Goodbye, Emery.
And so long and have a magical week, everybody. I was trying to think of something space-worthy.
Explorative week.
Have a
Exploration week.
Yeah, whatever.
Have
Have a
a
magic.
Have a galactic week, everybody.
Have a galactic week, everybody. Have a.
Kungaloosh!